With the second Scarlet and Violet set Paldea evolved in the horizon, I think these are the top 5 cards that you should be thinking about picking up before the set drops. My first pick is going to be the Snorlax from the Trainer Gallery of Lost Origins. Now I believe that this card is a good pickup because in the future, Lugia lists are going to be playing multiples of this card with the release of Therapy Energy here. And at the current price tag of $3, I believe that this card has an ability to go up. I think this card could sit anywhere around from like $7 to $8 in the near future. And to me, paying $15 for a pair of Trainer Gallery cards is kind of steep. So I think if you could get a deal for these of, $5 for the pair, your LGS, then this is definitely a good pickup. Next is going to be the Irada Full Art, one of the most sought after cards of the entire Sword and Shield era due to its playability and the waifu tax, let's be real. Now, I think this is a great pickup because if you take a look at the Chanpao lists that are doing well in Japan, most of the lists are playing 3 to 4 copies of Irida. We have 4 copies in this list, 3 in this list, 4 in this list. And it's really important to be able to search your back Excalibur plus Rare Candy on the second turn of the game. And it can also search any of your individual items that you may need throughout the game. This card is sitting around the $25, $24-ish mark. And as you can see, upon release, this card was $35 to $40 upon its initial release after, those pre-release prices kind of dwindled down a little bit. But I see this card going back because I think a lot of people are going to be interested in playing Chanpao because it reminds a lot of older players of Archie's Toys, and that deck is very beloved by the fan base. So I could definitely see this card going back to that $35, $40-ish range, especially as we're removed further from Astral Radiance being available in stores, as it really isn't too available now. There is also additional copies of the Full Art Irida, as we can see from the Crown Zenith Galarian Gallery. This one's sitting at about $15, and as you can see in the past, upon release, it was sitting around, the $25 to $30-ish mark. So I could see this card going back up from this initial $15 price tag into maybe like the mid-20s as well, $20 to $25. And if you want to bling out those Chanpao decks, this is going to be a huge one, because I think, aside from maybe Iono, this is the most played supporter. This one has 4 research for Irida. This one has 3 Iono, 4 Irida. This one just has 4 Irida, not too many other supporters. So this is the most played supporter in this deck on average, and I don't want to pay extra for when this card comes out, so pick them up now. My third pick on this list is going to be the Corydon EX Gold and Alternate Art. So the reason I think these are great pickups in general are because, one, Corydon is a box art legendary for this generation, so it's going to be all over all the promotional material, and it'll be a Pokemon that's going to be in front of our faces for a long time. So eventually people are going to want this card for collection's sake. It is a legendary, and it has a lot of playability going into the next set if we take a look at Tinglu. So Tinglu is definitely an interesting deck. It's going to be a kind of slower control-y deck that's going to want to prevent your opponent from using their abilities. And the best way to power this bad boy up is by using that Corydon, because Tinglu attacks for 3 fighting energy, and what do you know? Corydon's going to be able to attach them. Obviously, it ends your turn, but the nature of the Tinglu deck is to slow down the game state to its pace, so you can afford to take a turn or two off with Corydon. This card is incredibly cheap. This card is $25. When we look at the Miraidon Alternate Art, that card is sitting anywhere from $45 to $50 usually. So this one is definitely the cheaper one in comparison. As you can see on release, this card was sitting around $30-$40, and now it's kind of at the lowest point it's ever been, $25. I could see with the release of Tinglu that this card is going to skyrocket. And if we go over here to the gold one, this card is incredibly cheap. This card is almost sub $10. Let's see, upon release, this card was anywhere from $20 to $30, and now it's a fraction of that. These are also a great pickup if you don't want to splurge for that alternate art. These are also pretty nice as well. I guess honorable mention to the full art, but that card's only a couple of bucks, so I don't see that card being very expensive in the future because Corydon already has 4 printings. Number 4 on this list, and the one you're expecting the least, is going to be Magmabase, a secret rare for Brilliant Stars. Now, I think that this is going to be a good pickup in the future for 2 reasons. One, with the increasing popularity of Sablezard, I think Magmabase can find its way into the list because it allows you to attack with Charizard a little bit faster, a little bit earlier, and if that deck can take unexpected knockouts with Charizard on, random 2-prizers, it puts the deck very far ahead. Magmabase is going to be one of the better ways to power it up alongside a Raihan. And also, with the introduction of the next set, we also do get Skeledirge EX. So, Skeledirge is a really nice tanky deck that is going to be abusing this stadium. As you can see, this list plays 3. This list plays 3. This list plays 3. This list plays a little bit of a split, but as you can see, most of these lists are going to play 3 Magma Basins. And if this deck is ever in a position where it's one of the more sought-after decks to want to be played in the metagame, or people are adapting to playing more of an Aura Mage engine, because I think this card can see more play in the future as well, as we saw a lot of success with Quagsire from the Dragon's Majesty set. So maybe as more good fire Pokemon are printed, we'll see more of this card. And this card being a couple of bucks, you know, it's not a bad pickup. 20 bucks at your local LGS gets you a playset of them. Pretty sure, you know, even something like Path to the Peak is pretty expensive in comparison. We'll take a look at Path to the Peak. Secret River, this card's $22. Obviously, this card's a lot better than Magmabase, but, you know, I can see Magmabase making its way up to, you know, $10 to $15. And, I mean, I'd rather spend $20 on a set of Magmabases now than $60 in the future. So I think Magmabase is a solid pickup, especially the more fire Pokemon that we get in the future, the better the card can become. And for the 5th and final entry on this list, we're going to have Secret Rare Energy from Scarlet and Violet base set. If we take a little scroll down here, we can see that Secret Rare Fighting Energy is about $5 to $6. This is the cheapest I have ever seen Secret Rare Energy. Now that we add our 3rd iteration of them, we can see that they are so cheap. These will eventually become more expensive in the future, as most of the Secret Energy do over time. So right now is the perfect time to pick these up, especially if you want to play, you know, Rapid Strike Urshifu or Tinglu in the future. These are very, very cheap in comparison to other energies. So if you look at the basic Lightning Energy from Scarlet and Violet base set, this card is sitting, you know, $8, $9. So if we wanted to bling out, you know, a 10 energy deck, it'd be, you know, 80, 90 bucks, which, I mean, it's still pretty expensive for a Pokemon deck, but if you want to bling out, 90 bucks is pretty cheap compared to before when I got 12 Secret Energy for a Pikarom deck. It was, you know, like $300 in energy, so it's, you know, half to less than half of the cost is pretty solid, especially when we look at other, you know, pretty sought after Lightning Energy. We look at the Lightning Energy from Evolving Skies. This one's sitting at about, you know, 16, 17 bucks, so if you can get 2 copies of this one for the price of one of this one, not a bad deal, especially when you look at the crazy prices of something like these play promo energies where you can't get a near mint copy for, you know, less than 55 bucks, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think this card's actually that much, but you know, it's what they're listed for at the moment. So if you can get your hand on any of these Secret Energies, my suggestion would be to hold on to them for the future. They're so cheap, it's not worth trading these into your LGS, getting, you know, 3 credit for them. And that's going to round out the list. So thank you guys for watching. If this is something that you'd like to see more of on the channel, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I think it's kind of interesting to look at what, you know, the future might hold, and picking up cards in advance, you know, get them for a little bit cheaper than they should have. I've definitely slept on a couple of cards like the Urn of Vitality Secret Rare and Single Strike Energy Secret Rare. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen again, because if any of you guys ever played against me in real life, you know I like playing with the pretty cards, and I don't think that's going to change anytime in the future. So let me know if you guys want to see more of this on the channel. Have a good one. Stay safe. Peace out.